Hello, good evening and welcome to Love Talk. We're dedicating this program tonight to all the stereotypical men and women out there. Now they say that women nag, women are very emotional and cry a lot, right? What do they say about men?
So many things, but you are all the same.
That we're all the same, that's right, we're all the same.
And that you don't like to talk, you don't like to do many things.
That's right. Today, we're going to see which stereotypes are true and which stereotypes are not true. And of course, stereotypes are there because usually things tend to be true. We have a couple here tonight. They will talk about the stereotypes in their own relationship, how they're making things better. And I hope that you can take something positive from their story as well. We'll be right back. Hi everyone, welcome back. Now we have a couple here tonight that actually they were in the studio with us in another program recently as part of a panel, but because they are the stereotypical couple, they are back here with us. We have Helder and Tanya. How are you guys?
Good, thank you.
Good. Now we were talking before the program, we know you guys for a little while, not too long, but would you say that you were or you are the stereotypical couple?
I would say so, yes, we are. In the
Some
sense,
aspects, yeah, definitely.
in the sense like Tanya here, she nags. I think she nags a lot.
So straight in there, Tanya nags.
So the saying all women nag a lot, I think most of it is true.
Right.
Because
What we're going to do instead, we're going to go to the men first.
okay,
All right? Because you went straight in there to Tanya, so we're going to go in there with Helder. Now you guys have been together for how long?
8 years, just over 8 years now.
just over 8 years.
8 years. Now when you met him, when you started dating, what did you see in him that you said, you know, this is exactly what people say about men? What was it in Helder that you...
He did not want to commit. He wanted to go out and be with his friends, and then have me on the side, basically, because that's what it felt like. I didn't feel like I was a girlfriend. I felt like I was something, and then his friends came first.
Like a
basically.
trophy,
Yeah, basically.
This is a mystery to me.
Yeah, it's.
So
He got me, and then he
Why
was
men
like,
are
"Yeah,
like
I've got her now. I can continue doing what I was doing before I had her." That's what it felt
So
like.
this thing of not wanting to commit, what was it, Helder? Was it that you were afraid? Was it that you liked your single life too much to let go?
Yeah, I liked my single life too much, and my scariest thing was losing my freedom. But like in the beginning, I would take her out, show it all to all my friends. You know, it's like, look what I've got, and then I put it to the side.
Like a trophy.
Yeah, and then I start. You know, everywhere I go, she would want to come. So I thought, nah, I can't have that happening. So that's in a way like I was losing my freedom slowly. So that was the scariest bit in the beginning. Yeah.
I would like to understand a bit more about this freedom thing, if you don't mind.
Because women are the opposite. When they find someone, usually they want to, you know, set up shop, as they say. And
You want to take care of the person. Your life is not only your life, it's about the other person's life. And listen, you want to know what the person is about, what makes her tick. Oh, okay, let's go places together. Let's, you know. Friends, friends, put them a little bit.
and that's exactly what you didn't want. You didn't want to go places together, right?
No, really. Like, for example, when I was going out to watch football with my friends, you know, it was just boys there. And I thought, why would she come? What was she going to talk about? We're just there watching football.
I want to do that for the simple reason that I had more male friends before than girls. The girls got that stereotype of
Gossiping
and then saying stuff behind your back, and I didn't like that. I like just to go out and just relax and not having to have that. So when I met him, and he liked to be with his friends, and that was the kind of environment that I was in before. You know, so it wasn't anything different. But he showed me, and then he go, okay, bye bye now.
So I mean, what did you guys do to overcome that? Because we're talking about stereotypes today, but how to change that? So you had this this thing that you didn't want to commit because you didn't want to lose your freedom. How did you get that to change?
It was just me really wanted to change within. So I thought, you know, I've got a good woman here, a nice, beautiful lady that I don't want to lose because of my friends.
Who
because
nagged?
of her.
But she's
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
You said men first. Leave the women alone for now.
No, because of my friends. I mean, it became to like compromising position, which I thought, you know, she's gonna be there for the rest of my life. So and my friends, whether are really my friends, they're gonna understand that. So that's when I start changing.
If you didn't change, you wouldn't have it for the rest of your life.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? That's the thing.
Was it you that did something for him to change and he hasn't noticed until today,
I
or was it
think
from him?
I think what happened was the moment that I stopped being clingy and calling him all the time, and I just backed off. That's when he started to do all the things really that I wanted him to do. Basically, just commit to us
And chase you instead of
Yeah.
you.
You know, he was the one
He's a
that then started saying, "Oh, let's go on holiday together," and because we didn't go on holiday together for quite a few years, and he was the one that started, asking, "Let's do this, let's do that," and I was like, "Okay." I saw the change, and I just left it. So the clinginess stopped, and he changed.
Yeah, we need to talk about that when we speak about the women, because there's a reason why women, the stereotype is that women are clingy and men pull away, so we need to talk about that later. Now, Helder, you were afraid to commit, or you didn't want to commit because you didn't want to lose your freedom.
Yes.
How are you in terms of, talking about how you feel and having long conversations into the night? I see Tanya laughing.
No, she knows, right? Now, I'm a very close person, very close. I mean, the only person I used to talk to was my mom. And then when Tanya came, to me it was hard to open up to her because I always wanted to show her like, I'm a man.
Macho.
Yeah, so
Macho man. Not that they're macho man.
So I was the one that if she needed a shoulder to cry on, I would be there. So I couldn't show her my weak side of, crying and stuff like that and showing her my feelings.
Why, Lena, why do men have to feel that if they talk about how they feel, it's a sign of weakness? Why does it have to be like that?
I think it's a fear that the man has deep inside. It's like the freedom thing. No one is jailing you like you are now in jail, but deep down it's things that you heard in the past. Or if you open up, you will look like I don't know. Something that's not very attractive, it's not very masculine, or if you are in a relationship, you're going to be like in a prison. It's things that are there from things that you've heard, I believe.
And of course, the men don't have to be, as wanting to talk about their feelings as much as women.
Of course not, but sometimes there are things that will bother you. That you need to talk about, an issue that you need to address, and if you don't talk, you'll have a big problem.
It's only going to get worse.
That's true, because sometimes I'm really stressed over something that clearly, if I spoke to her, I would get my, the load off my shoulders. Yeah. But if just, I'm not, because that's showing my weakness. And then I get stressed out, and then when she comes to me, asking or wanting some TLC.
I can see there's something wrong.
We can tell.
And I ask him, "Are you okay?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm fine." And I'm thinking, "But why are you saying you're fine when you're obviously not?"
Yeah.
There's something that's really bothering him.
Yeah, we can tell.
But he's just not spitting
it
it out. He just doesn't want to talk.
Yeah. But I understand what he said. If it has happened even to you. He comes home, it's a bit upset with something. Yeah. Most days. He comes home, there's something depending on what's going on, a big project or whatever, and he's upset about something that didn't go quite, according to what he wanted. And sometimes just by it, now I know after years of marriage, I'm like, so how was your day? I don't ask him to say, tell me, how are you feeling?
Yeah.
It's a different tactic, for you.
I don't use that one.
So how was your day? I don't even look at him, I'm doing something else. Oh, so how was your day? Because I've noticed that he's a bit stressed. And then he'll say, yeah, it was okay. I said, yeah, but tell me more about it. Mine was quite nice and everything. I did this and that. But what about you? oh yeah, this thing upset me, and so then he starts talking. But if you go straight to, listen, tell me how you feel, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, then we pull away. But how did you I mean, did that get better, Hilda? Do you still see that as a sign of weakness, or you?
Going back to what Miss Elena said about that, you heard that before. I mean, from stories that I hear from my mom, that was a very crying baby. But my dad was always like, "Oh, men don't cry, men don't cry."
So you see, there's a root of reason why.
So I kind of grew up with that, men don't cry. Even though I've seen my dad crying before, the tragedy happened, lost my older brother. So I did see him crying, but even though he was crying, but telling me, men don't cry. So I grew up with that in my mind that men don't cry.
That's the thing. See, there's always a reason behind it.
Are you better now at
Yeah, he's better.
Yeah.
It's a work in progress. Work in progress.
Yeah,
until the day you die, it's a work in progress, right? Now,
I'm getting better. Yeah.
we have to talk about the women, the stereotypes of women.
Are we
right?
finished with the men? Is that it?
We only have a couple of minutes, but what I wanted to ask you, Tanya, do you feel that women play a part in getting the men to let go of these bad stereotypes? Do you think you played a part in him improving in this?
Yes and no. I think the moment you stop putting pressure on your partner to do things, because if there's already issues, and the more pressure you put, the worse they get. It does come to a point where the person has to be ready to make the change. So if you take one step back and let them make that change as well, then things start to progress a lot quicker. Yeah. Something that would took years could have taken just a few months had I done that years back. Yeah. And it's just something that you learn, with time. Yeah, with time, when you get to know people and experiences and books that we've read as well, and he has helped us a lot. Okay, that's helped us a lot.
Now there is one stereotype that we didn't talk about before the show when we were preparing, but I want to throw that out there in the air before the break, so you can think about it for women, because when men are talking and a man has a problem and says, "Look, I have this problem, I don't know what to do," the guy says, "It's going to be okay, don't worry, it's going to be fine." He doesn't give advice, he just says it's going to be fine. But women, they don't need to ask for advice. They receive unsolicited advice. It's like if the lady's saying, "Oh, you know what, I have this problem." Even if she doesn't ask for advice, the female friend insists in giving advice, unsolicited advice. Now, this is a stereotypical problem that I've noticed, and we're going to talk about that when we come back. So don't go anywhere. If you want to know why women, you don't ask them for advice, but they give it to you anyway, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back, and we're going to talk about that. Welcome back. Before we went to the break, we asked, why is it that even if you don't ask a woman for advice, she'll give it to you anyway, just in case you need it? Why is that, Tanya?
I think it's just a motherly thing. You try to give advice to your friends or your family members because you want the best for them. So you try to give them ideas to solve problems. Doesn't mean they're going to take it, but deep down we want them to take it, isn't it? In a way, yeah,
just
we do.
Do what I'm saying, it works.
We do, but we don't want to seem pushy. So we give ideas,
unsolicited ideas.
Yeah,
it's interesting because for the first time in 12 years of marriage, my husband said that I do that. Really?
It's like Tanya said, it's a motherly thing, right?
Yeah. We care for people, we really do.
Tanya,
women.
Let's go to the women stereotypes. Now, you were saying in the first half of the show that in the beginning you were very, you would
clingy.
Nag, clingy. Do you want to talk about nagging or clingy
I was
first?
Clingy.
Clingy.
The nagging came afterwards.
Okay, tell us about that.
Clingy was because, I came from a broken home. My parents split up when I was really young, so I always wanted to have the love that I didn't have as a child. So when I met Helder, I was like, this is the person I want to be with, and he wasn't always giving me what I needed. it wasn't always right for him, but so I became really clingy. I didn't want to lose him. But I went the wrong way, obviously, because clinginess, it just makes a man run like, not even a mile, it just makes him run like 10 miles.
Especially when he said that he wanted his space, right?
It felt like he was in a prison.
So now it makes sense why he wanted his freedom. I did become a little bit too clingy, and it took my time because he wasn't committing as well, so that didn't help. So I became even more clingy.
Like insecure, no? Maybe it comes from insecurity.
Yeah, because I had previous relationships that weren't that great, so I didn't want to lose him.
Of course.
So I did it the wrong way.
Helder, how does a man react when you have someone with you all the time, sending you... Did you do that then? Sending texts all the time?
I mean, I would put my phone on silent. And when I look at it, there's 20 missed calls and
because he used
15 texts.
Because when we used to have an argument, when we used to have an argument, he wouldn't pick up his phone.
That's bad.
Or he would pick up and then just hang up. So that got me really annoyed. I mean, I used to get really annoyed with that. So I used to call him just to annoy him because I was already annoyed because he annoyed me. So it was like a vicious circle.
But to me, that's it was all like you invading my privacy. Privacy, it was my space. So I didn't want to lose that freedom. So now you understand.
You were saying, it's funny because you were saying that the way you solved that was to do exactly the opposite. Stepping back a little bit brought him closer to you. Yeah,
I mean, that only happened maybe in the last 4 years maybe. I decided, you know what, I've had enough, because the more I try to get him, the more stressed I am. I just look like a crazy woman trying to chase my boyfriend. So I said, I'm just gonna let go. If he wants to be with me, he's gonna be with me. I'm not gonna be running after him anymore. I've had enough. He has to do the chasing now. And that's when I just let go. If we had an argument, I wouldn't call him, I wouldn't text him, I would just leave him alone to do his thing.
That works every time, doesn't it?
And then after a while he would call me like a few hours later. He would call me.
But to me it was like, hey, I got my space back, so you know, let me go after her now.
But why isn't she calling me? What's wrong with this woman?
Because I wasn't doing what I would normally do, just be like a bunny boiler and call him like every 2 minutes. And then he just had to see the change, and then he started to come after me. He was the one that was like, why don't we do more stuff? Why don't we go out? Why don't we go on holiday? And then, you know, the big question, why don't we move in together?
So
and then I was waiting for him to tell me this, like years back.
So you became more interesting for him.
Yeah, exactly.
More interesting, more... what is she up to? Let me see. Let me call her.
Men having that nature of the hunter. He wants to hunt, not be hunted, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think I hunted him for about 3 years.
So alright, she stepped back. Let me go after her again because what's going on?
Subconsciously, that's what happened.
You're like, well, if there's somebody else, is there something else? So let me go.
You see?
Let me get back into it. So.
What about the nagging? Do you want to tell us about that?
The nagging, it was when we moved in, because he was used to having friends doing stuff for him at home. Maybe I grew up with a mother who was very strict. You know, you couldn't move things out of place for too long because it would be, you know,
the universe would be out of balance.
Completely. So even though I'm not like that, I don't mind if the house is not tidy for a while. But you know, if you just getting undressed and you've got the dirty basket right next to you, and you put the clothes right next to the basket
on a pile.
Why is it so hard for you just not to put it inside the basket? I mean, it's right there. So the nagging started with that.
They don't see the basket.
And
they do not see the basket.
Tell me something. I was thinking of this nagging thing, and we men, we have the ability to relax doing nothing, right? Women don't have this ability. They relax doing something, even if it's like Elena, she'll watch a movie with me, but she'll be doing her nails, or she'll be answering emails, or she'll be doing something. So a woman, she nags because she says, look, can you do this And the man says, yeah, I'll do it in a minute, but it has to be now.
Do you know what I remembered? When he's watching a movie and then I'm there, oh gosh, I can't just sit and watch a movie. I need to make the most of this time that I'm here doing nothing. So I'll go and grab a book or something, or I don't know, or the computer. And then when he's there listening to the movie and like paying attention, he said, oh, can you get me a cup of tea, please?
I don't do that with movies.
Oh, can you get me a chocolate from the
But
shop?
it's the same with us.
Football.
When football is showing, and I think she's waiting until the kickoff starts, and then, oh Helder, can you do this? Oh Helder, can you, take the rubbish out, or can you go and get this from the shop? I'm like, all this time, didn't you remember that until the football started?
And then if you say, look, I'll go in 90 minutes when the match is over, it doesn't work. It has to be.
But then it's
Yeah,
not 90 minutes, because then you've got
The break.
You've got
And
the
then the
break, and you've got the
interviews.
interviews afterwards, and an hour and a half turns into 3 hours.
Yeah.
So the nagging started with little things. It's just little things that, for him is not a lot, but for me that I'm trying to do things in the house.
It's a big responsibility, isn't it? We're
It's
trying to justify our nagging. We work a lot. We work really hard,
the
isn't
brain
it?
doesn't stop. Our brain
But
doesn't
Tanya
stop
knows that.
working.
No, even during
It
the
just-
night, I was telling him I sleep about things that I need to do the next day.
Yeah, we go to bed thinking about what I need to do the next day,
Oh yeah, and I take
and you just like
when
Straight away.
I take it.
So
the time.
how did you solve? I mean, have you solved the problem of the nagging, or it's an
yeah.
ongoing?
It's still an ongoing process, but
yeah.
I think it's a lot better.
It's just
a lot
that
better.
it stopped more because I saw her doing it, so I felt a bit guilty. I thought, I'm not a child anymore. I don't live with my mom anymore, so I could be helping her doing that by
Yeah.
just putting it in the basket.
Yeah.
So I started doing it, but every now and then, towel slips out. And
Like a wet towel on top of the bed.
Basket is the key word for you today. There is a basket.
and now we go child that distracts me sometimes.
The greatest excuse is a child in the house that distracts them.
Yeah.
And after bath, he's always running around, and that just sometimes it's one towel or a pair of socks.
Sometimes it's two
But
towels.
Wet towel on the bed where we're going to sleep in.
But I got a
Yeah.
lot better than it.
Yeah, you have.
All the shoes. All the
No,
shoes
he's good.
outside.
No, he's
There's
good. He's
a
good.
place for the shoes.
No, there's a place for the shoes. He's good. Actually, Stefan, what he does when he gets home, he goes, Daddy, tells him to sit down, and he starts trying to take his shoes off to put them away.
You're teaching him well.
No, it's actually him. It was actually him.
So the thing about stereotypes is that stereotypes, to a certain extent, they're true, right?
Yeah.
From what we saw, from your experience,
Yes,
actually
they
from my
are. They
experience.
are true.
Not all of them, of course, but what would you say is the key to overcoming all the stereotypes? Because you've overcome some, overcoming others. What would you say is the key to make your relationship better? Now you're committed, you're about to get married, I understand.
Yeah.
How did you overcome all these things?
I think it's realizing, you have to compromise. It's not just you.
Help each other.
Yeah, and you have to give each other. You have to give each other space.
Yeah.
And you have to realize what you're doing as well, because sometimes you're doing it and you don't even realizing that you're nagging.
Yes, absolutely.
The nagging
second nature. Sorry, baby, I nag a lot. I'm sorry.
But I think the nagging is probably one of the worst things that we do. We do.
Now I learned.
like that.
Let's say there's a football. I'm a Man U fan.
Unfortunately, nobody's perfect.
So I know when the football is on, I try to do everything before the football. I even go
And
to
now
a
I try
already
not to
know.
ask him, and I try not to ask him anything during football, because if I ask him, I might as well not have asked him at all, because he would have gone straight out the air.
And it's on Saturday, isn't it? So you don't want to spoil the Sunday.
No, Saturday and Sunday.
By having an
Because we've got
argument.
Sky, so it's like Sunday right now. Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Football is
Oh,
on.
really?
We've got Spanish league as well, so it's just
Thank God I don't have Sky subscription.
So you have tried not to blank out what each other says,
can't,
but to take that on board and change, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
and what really helped us a lot, it was the Bulletproof Marriage book.
yeah.
I read it already. I'm
Yeah.
halfway through again.
Yeah,
I'm reading
It's like a
again.
little
You read it
manual, isn't it?
before,
You
yeah.
like
Yeah,
really have
yeah.
to read it.
Me.
I think that's like an encyclopedia. Anything, any problems that we
Yeah.
go through, I just go there.
It's like a
And then,
manual.
Yeah, always go
I
back
really-
to
And
So
it.
that helped us a lot.
It's good because it's not just for relationships. You can use that like in
For
all
other
so
areas as well.
in your
So
life.
today, if you have a problem, you say to Tanya, hold on a second, let me go to the book.
Literally, yeah.
No, I think we will be more patient with each other.
Be more patient.
We
with
are a
each
lot.
other,
I
yeah,
mean, we used to
definitely.
argue all the
For no
time. I
reason.
think there was like not a single week that we would not argue.
My friend, I think we should all embrace our differences and just go with it and make fun of it and have fun with it.
Have a laugh, right?
Just
Yeah.
have a laugh. You know, some people that we advise on our seminars, I see that they take things too seriously sometimes. There was a lady who came to me saying, you know, I've been married for 3 years and my husband, he doesn't talk. And I told him, he's a wedding ring. If you don't change, that's it. And I told her, listen to yourself. He's a man, you are a woman. You are different. You didn't marry a woman or your girlfriend. You married a man. So meet halfway, you know.
But I think that's what attracts women to men.
Yeah.
So
and
don't
men to
make a
women.
big
It is
drama.
the
Just be
differences.
patient.
And the thing is, if every time you have a problem with your partner, you say he's the ring, then no marriage is going to last, right?
Exactly.
Because-
There's no value in it,
Yeah.
really, because
Yeah,
you're always
so-
putting your ring on the risk, on the line.
I believe in her case she was scared because maybe she didn't hear this from anyone else before, that it's normal for a man to be quiet most of the time.
Yeah.
You know, it's natural to
Actually,
them.
men like that. They like silence, right?
Yeah,
yes.
quite a lot.
Guys, we've run out of time. I want to thank you for being here. Thank you
Yes,
so much.
indeed.
Thank you.
You
Our
are an
pleasure.
example to couples who are struggling with these stereotypes, but you are an example of how it is possible to overcome all of them. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And you know, it is true that there are big differences, huge differences between men and women, and many of the stereotypes that people talk about are true. Not all of them, but some of them. And the thing is, it's not a big deal. These are things that as a relationship develops, you can make these things better. So don't turn it into a big problem. Like Elena said, have a laugh, you know, laugh about it and try to work it out. And I'm sure that in due time, things will get better. It takes time, but you get there in the end. Okay? Thank you very much for joining us. Have a wonderful night. Until next time.